Hi, I'm Kulu, the developer of Hungry Lamu 2 and the other Hungry Lamu games. You've just enabled the developer commentary mode, which means throughout this playthrough, you'll find me around the world. So you can talk to me for some insight on the development process of the section. Also, thanks for purchasing the game. It's the first game I put with a price tag, so I'm glad that you chose to support me and my work. Alright, let's get going. I see, you're an explorer. The opening of the game was something that came really easily to me. This section was a good way to bring you back into Lamu's world and show you the chaos he's caused just by walking around. An interesting story is that the strawberry head is never shown in the first game, but it does share the same sprite sheet as the other fruits. So imagine my surprise when I saw the strawberry head online, even though it had never been shown publicly. Oh yeah, and poor Mochi. Surprised? Yeah, I can appear in the third dimension too. Anyway, these are new models for our tree campus. When I made the first game, they didn't have defined faces. After developing the spin-off games, it was easier to imagine what they look like since they're all connected to the characters in those games. Go talk to them if you haven't. They won't be here for long. If you didn't get this part, it's a rabbit hole. The protagonist became obsessed with the incident due to the trauma and did some deep research, which eventually led them to the next area. This part forced me to build a proper timeline, since a lot of the events were all floating around before this. There should be an image of the full timeline in the gallery. So, what are you in for? This section really starts to peel away at the cartoon filter that Lamu sees the world in. The environment is grittier and is also much more disheveled. This also introduces us to Terry, who was built up in the previous area. Terry's been quite a character in the spin-off games, but he's always been nameless. His last name is Orgullo, which is pride in Spanish, because that's all he has. With the plan for Hungry Lamu 2 to close off the series, it was also planned that Terry would appear to close off his story as well. The initial idea for these segments were actually to have them in 3D, and we would be playing as a 7-year-old Larry in first person. He was also meant to be wheelchair bound, meaning he wasn't able to move, so all he was able to do was look around. I definitely prefer this style over that idea in the end. It just fits a lot better and is much more visually interesting. Hey, I'm showering in here! If you notice, the little graphics that pop up after you complete a task are supposed to be hints about the condition that Larry has. Can you tell me what genetic disease Larry has? Oh, sorry. Wrong game. If you've played Porkbound, you would be familiar with this place. It was interesting to imagine it as a 3D space since it was just a side-scroller in that game. Anyway, this place is really peaceful. I found myself just walking around with the music while I was working on it. We get to see a bit of a grown-up Aaron here too. I tried to keep his face the same when transitioning him into 3D. I'd say it turned out not too bad. This is also where we see the protagonist suffering from survivor's guilt, as they're haunted by their dead friends throughout the journey. Happy birthday, Larry, is the name of the song you're hearing now. The transformation sequence was an important event in Lamu's story. Again, the original direction was to have it animated in 3D, but I wasn't that good at 3D animation, so it ended up looking very stiff and robotic. I think you could tell from the walking animation in the previous level. In the end, I stuck to the 2D rendition, and it worked out since it meshes better with the gameplay that's present here. Ooh, lasagna. The aquarium surprisingly took some time to migrate into the game from Sea Mongrel. Since that game was a 2.5D style, there were no ceilings, and the heights of the walls didn't fully make sense when directly imported into 3D. But I'd say it was worth it. The vast size of the place and the empty feeling are quite liminal. Obviously, a lot of the smaller rooms are locked, so play Sea Mongrel if you want to fully explore the aquarium. I actually enjoyed this section since I thought it was an interesting puzzle. If you brute forced this, the clues are basically in what Tasha is saying. For example, when she says tree left, it means tree from the left. I wanted to have more pathways, but while playtesting, I found that this was the right amount, as not everyone might have enjoyed the puzzle. He's free! The original flow for the game was actually for the gameplay to be directly 50-50, meaning you would have played all the Lamu sections up to this point, and only after here you would start playing as the protagonist in 3D. But after playing through all the Lamu sections back to back, I feel this staggered flow was better to keep things fresh. In the end, this is a story about Lamu and the protagonist, so it was important to have both of them present in the game. It was really fun to work with a gameplay flow that had two protagonists who were against each other. Oh, hey. I was supposed to be inside the lab, but that place is really claustrophobic. This is also where we meet Terry in full 3D. Something I'll admit, and you might have noticed, I can never get his face to be consistent. At this point, there are 3 versions of him with all different looking faces. I just hope you can recognize him from his goatee and hat. Anyway, you're almost to the end. Get that axe and get in there. And we're coming to the end of Lamu's story. From the very beginning, I wanted Lamu to die. Even though he was just a child when he turned, he was still a monster and killed over 22 people. 28 if you add the 3 food friends, his parents, and Terry. This segment is just to drive that point home. It's definitely unfair, but that's just how it is. With that, this is also my last message before the end. I hope you enjoy the game with a little spice of me included. Check out the gallery if you haven't, as there are more behind the scenes features there. Thank you again for supporting me in my game. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.